I hadn't really planned to do a commentary this week, as you may know, but something urgent intervened and I ask you to hang in with me. Anand and Indira Jaising are not international household names, although they should be, but they're names that are very well known in India as two remarkable human rights lawyers who are a husband and wife team that created something called the Lawyers Collective back in 1981, a legal vehicle which has engaged in many contentious cases, always in the quest for social justice. Indira Jaising is in significant measure responsible for the domestic violence laws in India. She has intervened successfully in many women's rights cases, extending from sexual harassment to equal pay, to inheritance rights, to divorce. She even had the temerity and the courage recently to question the process by which the Chief Justice in India was exonerated in an allegation of sexual harassment. She has received one of the highest civilian honors that can possibly be bestowed in India, and I remind you that it's a population of over 1 billion people. Anand was for many years the United Nations Human Rights Council Rapporteur on Health, where he in an exemplary fashion pursued global public health in many countries around the world. But within India itself, he intervened in many significant cases. He intervened in the case to prevent drug companies from extending their patent protection, and he won. He intervened in the case to overturn the discriminatory laws against LGBT populations, and he won. He intervened in the case against the discriminatory legislation involving people living with HIV, and he won. He intervened in the case where the government was attempting to deny drugs to a young woman dying from multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, and tragically enough, she did die, but he won the case. In other words, Anand and Indira Jaising are lawyers to be contended with. Now, when you effectively defend people and issues that are targeted by the government, you become the targets of the government itself, and that's what's happened. And the government, using something called the Foreign Contributions Regulation Act, is hounding the Lawyers Collective and attempting to drive it right out of existence. The Foreign Contributions Act gives the government, and in principle this is acceptable, the right to regulate the contributions that come from outside the country and used by NGOs. And that is a legitimate legislative disposition, but in practice it is being used to stifle dissent and to go after the Lawyers Collective. So what is happening is they're attempting to shut down the Lawyers Collective. They actually this month raided the offices of the Lawyers Collective, and Anand and Indira Jaising, they have now laid criminal charges. This is an unconscionable act of persecution to stifle the dissent of opposition critics. Now, naturally, Anand and Indira Jaising are fighting back, and there are many, many organizations building momentum in their favor. Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, the Bar Committee on Human Rights in England and Wales. Human rights advocates around the world have signed a petition. If you'd like to sign the petition as well, and we encourage it, please click the link in the description below. And then many, many feminists and women's rights advocates have signed a petition. All of these people in India and outside asking the government of India to cease and desist. What is happening is intolerable. An exemplary team of lawyers defending the human rights of the marginalized and vulnerable are being hounded out of existence by a government. It has to stop. We know these days of repressive governments. This is something that cannot be accepted by any of us. I ask you to intervene as you can. That was last week. I'm Stephen Lewis.